All right, welcome to week 4, everybody. We've made it to the end, and I'm really happy with you guys. The communication, if you fall behind, has been great in this class. For 3 people, to have all 3 of you actually on track or working with me is amazing. I love it. So thank you guys. Like I said, this has been a great class for that. All right, tonight we're going to get into some more of the nuts and bolts. So the announcements, please make sure to have everything submitted by Saturday. If you are having troubles, let me know ASAP, okay? And it's quicker to actually text or call if you can. All right, today's class. We're going to go over today's class, but if there's any questions, please let me know. So we'll shut that one down. Oops, it's done. Yay. We're going to move that out of the way. All right, so today's class, week 4. Today and tomorrow's class. We're going to learn about using computer data files and programming. Learn the data hierarchy. Learn how to perform file operations. Learn about sequential data files, random access files, and merging data files. All the fun stuff within a database. So this class, a lot of what we're doing sets you up to run databases, okay? It does have, as we were discussing, the if-thens and all that, a lot to do with programming, but that's all a database is you're programming, you're saying, okay, this is what I want you to find, computer. All right, so we're going to get into some of that tonight. And to discuss that, I'm going to actually need Word, which mine ended up in a little process here. But instead of using Word to start with, we're going to talk about computer data files and programming, all right? What are some of the things we have to do with a data file? When we're telling the computer, the first thing we have to do, it's like a library, all right? You know what? We're going to bring up Illustrator for it. It's like a library, using the old systems of a library. I don't know. For example, our library has gotten away. They don't have the card file system anymore. You have to look everything up on the computer. How about yours, Michelle?
Which library?
The book library.
Oh, the book library here? I can't tell you the last time I went.
Okay, so hopefully this example works. We go quite a bit because we have kids.
That makes sense.
Open up. Excuse me, sorry about that. My soda went down the wrong pipe.
Oh no!
I hate when that happens. Okay, so here's where we start. And we are going to color code this. All right, so history, just kind of there. That's going to be history, all right? Well, after history, we have, what can we have? Autobiographies? We'll use autobiographies.
Fiction, nonfiction.
Okay. So fiction, we'll make that a fun color. Let's make it nonfiction.
Mystery.
Okay. So you're seeing, and we could go on and on and on with this, right? And let's put the last one up there. You said mystery.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is the aisles in the bookstore, or at the library, excuse me. And we're going to make that one. There we go. All right. So we're going to say that here's the bookshelves. All right. And we're not writing them. We're just using this as an example. But how do you get to the bookshelves? This goes all back to when we were talking about programming and telling people step by step. How do you get to the bookshelves? What do you have to do very first thing?
Look. Decide which one you want to go into.
First, don't you have to enter the building?
Yes.
Okay, so we're programming. To find the book, you have to go into the building. All right, let's say, and we're going to bring up the arrows. Whoops. Let's bring up the arrows for this. I'm going to use the fun arrows. All right, so we go in and we need to find a certain book. All right, so we start here. We go in. Do we go right to a bookshelf?
No. Maybe we go to the card catalog, like you were saying.
Card catalog first. Card catalog is this right here. Okay. This on our Mac is called the Finder. First things first, you have to go to the Finder to find the file you want, right? All right, so this idea right here isn't going to work. Get rid of that. What we have to do first is go to, as you mentioned, the card catalog. Okay, so we're going to put that right here. And we're going to actually put it inside the library. There we go. All right. So what we're discussing here now is the map to a library. So first things first, we're going to come in, card catalog. In the card catalog, we are going to look, bring this back up. Well, first section, right? Well, the first section we have to find out is what type of book are we looking for? Fiction, nonfiction, history, and so on, right? Well, to decide that, on top of the card catalog, there used to be this thing called a chart. That chart was the Dewey Decimal System, right? Or some are by alphabetized. They've mixed them now. Some books are alphabetized, some by author, some are alphabetized by subject, some are numbered with the Dewey Decimal System. So we go here, find which ones we want. Then you'll look in the card catalog in that section. And then that card catalog is going to say, you need to go here, around to here. Well, we try that again because we're not walking through walls. And let's just say we want to go there. All right, so that's where I want to go. The next step is where along this, because on the catalog tells you the books from this book to this book and this book to this book on this side. So now we go down here and say we're right there. All right, so now we're looking on the shelf. Shelf 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on. All right, what's the next step?
Find the book.
Well, we got the book because now we're in this right section, right? So we find the book, you're right. Next step.
Valid, make sure it's the right book.
Okay, well, we've already did that by finding it.
Check it out.
Check it out. Well, now, to check a book out, we have to go. Well, it used to be you had to go up to the librarian. Now, you can go to the librarian, or you could go to the console, put your card in, it reads the barcode, finds your account. So it's doing the same thing that we're doing here, but it's doing it computer-wise. All right, so now I'm going to go from here. And we're going to go back here and check it out. Next step, what is it?
Leave.
We're going to leave the library and go home or wherever. All right. So looking at that, does that look like a complicated process just glancing at it?
No. No. Pretty straightforward.
Okay, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps. Okay, so now, let's see if this is updated yet. Yes, it is. So now I can bring my word up. All right, so now we're going to bring word up. And we're going to put this in a flowchart. Okay, so walk into library, right? All right. In fact, if it's like our library, it's not just a regular library. Our library actually has that as part of its name. Okay, so it's a library, not just a library. Now, next step, what we have to do. Walk into the library, go to card catalog, right? Next, we need to look up section book will be in. Okay. Next, see, so there's a couple extra steps that we did in the same steps, but now we have to add those as subsets. So that would actually be like that, right?
Yes.
Then go to bookshelf with book. Go to bookshelf containing. Because by saying with the book, I'm walking over there to get the book and I've got it in my hand. So we got to watch how we tell the computer to do stuff, right? As you can see right there, that could cause what? What type of error would that be? A syntax error. Because now I'm making it go find something while I'm holding it in my hand. It won't find it, will it? Okay, so go to bookshelf containing. desired book. Okay, now we're at that bookshelf. Look at chart on end, see what side of shelf to look at, right? Walk down aisle to where book would be. Now, we can, like you said, break that into others. Find shelf where book would be. Now, at that point, find book. Remove book from shelf. Okay, now that we've removed the book from the shelf, what's the next step?
Check out.
Check out book. All right, that's going to be its own step. So we'll take that back to there. Leave library. All right, so as you can see here, in fact, that will be back to that. There we go. Just to take out a library book, there's more steps than we actually described, isn't there? So those subsets are how you start to categorize your data, all right? So let's say I want to work with a data file, right? So to use that data file, what I have to do, what data file do I want? That's going to be, and we're going to do it this way, input statement, right? What data file do I want? It's going to be an input statement telling it. Next, well now, whoops, there we go. So next, it is, we're going to search for data file. But you don't have to tell it to search for it. It automatically does that within it, okay? It goes to. So we want a go to file. And that's going to be file name was input in step 1. All right, so now we've gone to the file. That automatically finds it. We found it because we said go to. Next, now that we found it, we are going to open file, right? Well, to open a file, you're going to tell it, sometimes the program will do it, depending on the type of program. But most of the time, you'd have to do something like, okay, I'm going to read the information there, okay? So we're going to say, and this is going to be the code here, without those. Remember, those are just, you know what, I think a way to do this a little easier is what we're going to do is we're going to make it blue. Is that hard to see?
No.
Okay. In fact, here, we'll even make it easier to see. What I can do is, since that's the light blue, use dark blue behind it. There we go. All right, that does make it hard to read. So we can go a little lighter on the blue. do that. There's a reason I'm doing all this work for this, because this is how a computer does it. There we go. So I'm actually putting the type of commands you're going to be using there. Okay, so now we open a file. How do we open a file? We're going to do a code now. Open file name. Now remember, I said I want to read it. So to read it, it's going to be something like an R. Okay, and then close. So you have to open and close, as we discussed, the items needed. All right. Now, let's say we want to open it and take that stuff and write it to somewhere. Okay. So we're going to actually open it. We're going to open the file. I'm going to actually just copy this because it's basically the same thing, just a little different. So we're going to open it, and instead of reading it, we're going to write it. So it's a W for write, and that puts it where we want it, right? So we open the file, go to the file. We want this file. And we'll break this down a little bit more here soon. All right, now the next step, we have to actually close file. And just to do that, you have to make it a variable, so it's not just continuous. So what we're going to do is we're going to copy that. There we go. All right, now, so we're going to file variable. So basically, now I'm telling you the next step to do with the same file. All right, dot close. And because it's already open, and that's the file we're working with, we leave them blank. Next, and that's it right there. That's how you go, that's working with the data files, okay? So this is just a rough, this is how you do it. Input, file name was input in step 1, open file, we're gonna read it. Now I wanna open the same file and write it, and then we're gonna close that file. So these are some examples, all right, of how you work with data. Data has many different things, okay? But now let's talk about how data is broke down. All right, so to break down data, easiest way to say this, okay, now we're gonna go back over to here. All right, now I'm going to get rid of all this. And these are gone. All right, so now just say, I have a database here. All right, this is my data. But how do I want to break that down? All right, so we're going to say, we're going to give a very simple report. Employee data. Okay, so there we have it. Employee data, very simple, right? So let's add color to it. All right, so there we have it. It doesn't look right. Employee. Anyway, all right, so now what we're going to do, the employee data, we go and we break this down. First, what we're going to break it down by, and I will use various colors. Let's go to a green. And then at the same time, we're here. All right. Now, oh, perfect. Okay, so next what we want to do is this one, instead of being green, it's going to be kind of a yellow. Or there we go, an orange works. All right. Our males and our females. All right. So there we have it. Now we go to the males, females. Okay, so next. Well, now we need to break them out by what? What's the next step? Okay, if we're doing a governmental report, all government reports do this. Okay. So next, we want to break them out. By, so we'll copy these. Age. All right, now you're going to start seeing so now we have the two ages, right? For both. And this will be the same for the females. Okay. So for space, we're going to do this. We can actually shrink these down to make room for the others. All right. And we'll do the same with this one. So we have age. Now you notice I put two different ages. All right, so for example, that would be above 50, below 50. All right, or let's do 45. So this one would actually be above, and this one's below. Above, below. And you're starting to see a pattern here. Okay, so first we have to, all right, all the males. Then we're going to split it out to all the females. Then we're going to break that out further, all the males above 45, all the males below 45. Same with the females. Okay. So this is data hierarchy. And this is working with data. Now remember how we were talking a little before. Now we're going to put the names, all right? Well, with the names, we have to break that out because most databases will have two names, all right? They will have and these two will be over here to this one. Okay. These two will be here for this next one. And it'll be the same here. Okay. And Command CV, same for this. All right. Now you're starting to see I'm running out of room, but I hope you're starting to see the data structure here. Are you starting to see how this is flowing?
Yes.
Okay. Now, let's draw the arrows. So this one breaks down to the 2 ages. This one breaks down to the 2 ages. This one breaks down. This one breaks down. And this one breaks down. So we now have, I got to get away from that. We now have 4 lists, right? We've broke it down to 4 different lists. Well, next we have to go to another section. And this is going to be the name. How do most names get broke down?
First name, last name.
Exactly. So we're going to take this one. We're going to just break one side down for each of these now, okay? Because if we kept going, we'd be out of room here to even demonstrate. All right, so now we go to name. All right, now the thing with the name, well, we have first name, last name. So it's going to find first name. Well, we want to tell it. First, let's go to most. They'll do last name, then first name, correct? A lot of databases do that. That way you're alphabetical by last name. All right, so we'll move that down to there. All right, so from that point, okay, so now we come down. From that point, now we're going to go down further. CB. This is data hierarchy. We find one section, then we go to another section and break it down. That's all data hierarchy is. All right, so first, and this would be, now we're alphabetizing them by that. We alphabetized by the last name. Now we're taking it and alphabetizing by the first name. So does that make sense?
Yes.
This is data hierarchy. All right. Well, now, how would that look in a database? And let's bring up a program that is the basis of any database you'll ever use. Excel. All right, so what we're going to do. The Arial. All right, and I'm going to enlarge it so we can see it a little better. Plus, I'm going to take these to 18. There we go. All right, so we're going to have 3 columns here. All right. And then we're going to break this down to what it is actually the terms for it, okay? So we're going to come over here. Data. All right, so data hierarchy terms. All right, so we're going to make this, well, this is now going to be, we're going to border that, in fact, alignment, merge the cells. So we just made these cells the data hierarchy terms, okay? So we start with database. That's the main one, right? So what we're going to do is Command 1 and do the same thing here. Okay. And we're going to take that down a few. There we go. After database, we have a record. Field. Character. A byte. And a bit. All right, we'll get into what each of these means here later. But right now, this is the basic structure of what a database is made of. Every one of those, okay? So we're going to delete those. Okay, so there we go. So what I'm going to do, we're going to separate this so it stands out so you can keep an eye on it, right? So we're going to border it. And there we go. Okay. And then this, because these are now separated into each one, what we're going to do is we're going to center everything. And we're going to take this and we're going to make it yellow. All right. Now, as we discuss these, we're going to put a color code to them. And yes, I'm colorblind, so this is going to be fun. But, all right, so we're going to start here with 3 columns. All right, in fact, we're going to take those out. Whoop. Delete. There we go. All right, so we have 3 columns here, right? We're going to merge those columns to start with. All right, so we're going to put a border around the outside of this. And we're going to fill it with the yellow. Okay. And what I forgot to do, we're going to merge that and center it. Okay, so here, employee, oh, I did spell it right. Information. All right, so data hierarchy terms. Now we're in the employee information. That is actually the database. So instead of making that yellow, we're going to make it blue. So we tie these together, all right? Now, a table, what a database is, it's made up of one or more tables. All right, so a table, this is one table, right? The employee information. But there's subcategories. All right, so we're going to do this. And 1, we're going to fill them. Let's make them gray. And the border. Outline and center. There we go. All right, so to start with, now what we're going to do is first name. All right, well, let's take this out to where we need it. Let's go to 95. And note, see how that was too small for it? Basically, I didn't make my cell large enough. Now, in the database, if you don't have it large enough, you don't get to type past that amount. So you're going to tell each cell how many characters could be in it, right? Have you worked with databases?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so now, here's where we're at. The first name. Now, here, let's just spell it. And date of birth. All right, so this one is going to be, we're going to, now what type of data it is. So, first name, this is a record, okay? So this is going to be considered the table of names. Table of last names, table of date of birth. But it's all one table because it's employee information, all right? So really, these are not tables. They could be broken down as tables into separate tables, But we'll do that here shortly, all right? We'll do that after this part. All right, so the first thing, first name. Well, let's see. And 4, 5, 6, let's do. All right, so there we have them. Count. And you know what? We're going to do this a little better so it actually breaks it out a little clearer, okay? What we're going to do is we're going to add one more in the middle, all right? MI. Do you know what MI stands for?
Middle initial.
Middle initial, yes. So, first one. All right, so the date of birth, now we have to set that column up, that field, to a specific type of data. All right, so let's go back to number, and we're going to take a date. And let's do this one. All right, okay. So if I type September 13, 1994, it converts it. All right, so Bugsy Bunny, Wiley E. Coyote. Let's see. 11, 3, 11. Okay. Give me some more that go with that.
John.
Are we going with cartoons? Notice this is a cartoon database. So yeah, I threw that one in there.
Winnie the Pooh.
What?
Winnie the Pooh.
Exactly. You've got it. So T, Pooh. Okay. Next. Okay.
Peter Rabbit.
Peter. Now, some people say Peter the Rabbit, right? Have you ever heard that?
Yes.
Yeah, and it's really not Peter the Rabbit. It's Peter Rabbit, but hey. All right, so 7 June 75. All right. Next, let's put Smokey Bear. Do you realize a lot of people say Smokey the Bear, right? You knew that, right?
Yes.
Do you know why you can't? That's not right.
No, I don't know why.
Congress actually made a law saying his name is Smokey Bear.
Oh, interesting. That's pretty cool.
All right, so we're going to leave the data at that. So we're going to border it in. Okay, so we have our big border and then the smaller border inside to separate so it stays together. All right, so now we take a look at this. Well, let's go ahead and we're going to shrink that one down just to make it a little easier. All right, date of birth. Personally, I prefer to do that and center it so it's easier for me to read. Names I leave like this. Now, middle initials, if there's only one, I would do that. All right, so there's my database, right? This is going to be what? I'm going to mark it orange. It is a record. All right, one record, Bugsy Bunny. But we're going to break that down even more. A record is the table made up of records. Different records here, right? First name, middle initial, last name, date of birth. But the whole thing is one record. Okay, but a field, the field would be broke down to each one of these, all right? So the field would be that. Okay? Character, for example, one character. How many characters in this one? How many characters could we have in this one? We would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 characters allowed because you count for the dashes, right? So this would be 9 characters or one character. Names, probably about 12 characters for a first name. Same for a last. Now, granted, some last names go out to 20-some characters. And I've seen databases do that so that they don't chop someone's name in half. Okay, but for here, for this case, we're going to say a character. All right, the character, let's make it kind of a light green. All right, next we have a byte. Notice, a character is made up of bytes, okay? And this goes back to a type of programming that uses ones and zeros. Do you know what that is?
A bit.
What type of programming is ones and zeros and ones and zeros?
All types of
Huh?
It's like the original computer date. Yeah, I can't think of it.
Programming with ones and zeros is called binary.
Bye.
Yes, a binary. So, how's binary work? Do you know?
No.
Okay, so 0, 0, that's 0. And to do this, what we have to actually do is I'm going to, normal, a 0 just takes off all other zeros. Or it takes the number off of a 0 in front of a number, right? Well, I have to tell this thing, no, I'm keeping that 0. So I could go scientific right here. Or I could go text or special or custom. See how that works? So we can make a custom one, but what I'm going to do for this purpose is say text just so that we could go through this a little quicker. All right, so this would be 0, 0. 0, 1 is 1. 1, 0 is 2. 1, 1 is 3. 4, how would we do 4? Would that be it? You never learned that one, did you?
No.
That's fine, that's fine. A lot of people don't know how to do binary anymore, which is, and that's all computers are. You have to remember, all data is based off of binary language. All right? So, well, one thing I'd like to show you, this character has a certain byte. All right? So, what I'm going to say is, what is the byte for T? So, we're finished with this. We don't want to save it? No. All right, so now let's go back to here. Now, what byte, B-Y-T-E, represents the character T? Is each character a byte? Yes. Look at this. ASCII character set. Remember we spoke about ASCII, right? Remember how we were talking about ASCII? Huh?
Yeah, no, I was just saying yes.
Okay, so this brings us back to what we started with at the beginning of the mod. Let's go to the ASCII character set. Now, take a look. This is the ASCII code. Actually, no. This is the value in ASCII. So we've gone from ASCII right now from yeah, mind dump. We just went from zeros and ones to using actual numbers, okay? But the ASCII table came about later because it was a lot easier than using 010, 001, and so on. All right, so T, what is the code? What code would I use for T?
A character.
Which one? Nope. Remember.
Oh, I got you. I got you.
Right here. This is the ASCII code.
127.
127 is delete.
Oh, okay. It goes the other way. 084.
Okay, exactly. You do realize some people would have said 116. They would have saw it first. You notice uppercase and lowercase have two different.
Oh, yeah.
So we're going to say that the T, all right, so the T would be 084. Whoops, got to go there. Command 1, do the same thing. Text. All right, so 084. All right, there's barely enough room in there, so I didn't account for the right character. Now I enlarged it so it goes to 3 characters, right? So there's only 127 characters in the basic ASCII code. All right, now that is now an actual byte. So let's put it at kind of that blue. Okay? So what's a bit then at that rate? Remember, a character is made up of bytes. So the bit is the smallest. So the bit is one character. So ASCII's jumping ahead just a little to make it easier to see. Now, what was it called? What was the coding of 01s called again?
Binary.
Binary. So, binary code, binary to byte. Okay, so, and I'm doing this so that you can actually get a good picture of it. That's why I'm demonstrating this. And I'm showing you in the same process how to do the research on this. All right, so the bit to byte. Here's an example for the number 8362, decimal minus normal. Digital, 2 represents the number 1. 2 times 1, okay? Digit 6 represents the number 10s to the 6 times 10, right? That's really difficult. Now, the first digit, here's the easiest way to do it. First digit from right, 10, so you start with the 10s. Then we go to the hundreds, thousands, and so on, okay? Does that make sense now?
Yes.
Okay. So a 7 is a 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, because it's just 1, right?
Mm-hmm.
But using the binary numbers, it's a little different. And this tells you how to do the math, all right? We're not getting into that depth right now. This class just touches on what they are. So a bit, this is a byte, okay? 174 divided by 128 equals 1.359. Okay, so the bytes, there's 1.359 bytes. 46 divided by 64, 0.718. Whole part would be a 0. So the byte would be a 0. Does that make sense? Here, 6 is the byte. So that's 6 bits. And the byte is a lot longer. It all depends on what you get. Okay, so this would be a binary number. So an easy way to think about this. Binary, let's see, we're going to go, let's start with a character. So character to byte calculator. All right, so 5 characters, totally 7 bytes. 1, and the character space, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So what that does is it takes the, this is where the math comes in. Like I said, we're not going to get that depth because I don't want to. I want just a calculator. Characters to bytes. Conversion tool. All right, 1 byte, 1 character equals 1 byte. So a character and a byte, they're the same thing, but the thing is, a character, 1 character can actually equal a different number, as you can see here when it comes to the byte. All right, so I'm going to input a T, capital T. Convert. Oh, this one's not working. Okay, that one's not working. But you're starting to get the idea. So bits turn into a byte. So 1 bit is 1 character, which is a 0. That's it. But we can't say it's a character. It's 1 item, okay? So the bit is the smallest form you can get of data. Is this now making sense? So this is empty. Well, it would be a 0 bit. Or this could be an E. We're going to grab that one just to make it look a little easier. And 1 character would be 1 bit. Does that make sense now?
Yes.
All right, so not getting into the math. This is how it breaks down. This is data hierarchy. Bit, byte, character field, record, database, and that's the whole thing. That's the database. That's it. So the employee information is the database. 1 record is everything on Bugsy Bunny. The field is the first name. There's a field, there's a field, there's a field, there's a field, there's a field. Now, how do we manipulate this? This is where I'm going to take this, and this is why, let's do the auto filter, or, well, we can sort. All right, so we're going to do this, and now we're going to sort the data. Sort it. Well, let's do A to Z based off of what column? All right, so this is where we start writing our code. All right. So we have to, in date of birth, we're looking at the values oldest to newest. Okay. See how that just did that? All right, now we want autofilter, or excuse me, not autofilter. Well, the autofilter, I just want one record. Whose record do I want? Let's say Bugsy Bunny. And there we have it. Okay, now the sort, we're going to do the sort again. So let's go backwards. Okay, now we're back to here. So the sort, data, tools, data, sort. Let's do it off of last name, values A to Z. All right, so if this letter comes first, then put the last name and the record in that order. If not, what one comes next? What comes before it? Does that make sense? This is how our if-thens work, right? So we just did a loop. In fact, what type of loop? I have you think on that one.
Yeah, I just had to change my mindset.
Uh-huh. But that's all it is. It's the same thing. You have to be able to look at this and remember, this is a loop.
Gotcha.
Everything we've been working is now being tied together right here.
Gotcha.
So what I'm going to do is we're going to file, save as. And guess what? What is this called? The file name, right? So I've just named the whole file of that database, employee database. All right, so based on that, I know this is a lot to take in, so that's why that's all I've got planned for tonight. And here, what we're going to do, let's see if this will do it. I don't think this will do it. Nope, it won't. It sounded good. All right, so anyway, for tonight, that's it. Okay. How do you feel about this now? What do you think? It's going to take some processing, right?
Yeah, no, but I get it. This is easier for me to follow than the other stuff was.
How about that?
Nope, I get that.
Oh, okay. Good.
Mm-hmm.
So this here, if you look at that database, they're just two different pictures of the same thing.
Yep, nope, I'm following you.
Okay. And that's what I wanted to tie together here before we left is this is a picture of what you're doing here.
Yep.
And it's a loop because, well, if it's male, I put it over here. If it's female, it goes to this list.
Gotcha. I can see how the dots connect for sure.
Perfect. All right. Well, that being said, that's going to be it for class tonight.
Thank you, Michael. That was wonderful.
I'm working on it.